What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Serial Sensei. Now, I originally had another video planned for this weekend, but the Switch 2 Direct went down. We had some Treehouse events. We saw some amazing trailers, but we also had some controversy. We had some anger and some confusion. So we gonna get into all of it. Now, I can't talk about every single thing. I kind of mainly want to focus on the two big elephants in the room, being the game key cards and the pricing, which has a lot of people in an uproar. Because I think those are two things that are going to heavily impact how this console performs sales wise, and I don't know, it's just going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. Now I'll briefly touch on the games from a gaming perspective. This presentation, this direct was fantastic. Lots of just great titles, amazing gameplay. Nintendo's heavy hitters were showing out, as well as some really good third-party support. Mario Kart World with the open world concept looked amazing. Donkey Kong Bonanza. Donkey Kong's out here looking like Wreck-It Ralph, just breaking everything. That game looks amazing. Kirby Air Riders is back. We haven't seen Kirby Air Ride since like 2003. So that's cool to see that back in the fold. Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion looks nuts, really fast. Fast-paced mech action. I'm here for that. From Software pulled up to the Direct with a Switch 2 exclusive called Dust Bloods. It's going to be like a multiplayer PvP VE game. We need to talk about that guy with his pajamas, though. He just woke up out the bed and just came out with a sword. I don't know what's up with him. But that could be a big W for Nintendo, I think, if that game does well. That could be definitely a big W. Street Fighter 6, speaking of third-party games, Street Fighter 6 coming through. Also going to be crossplay, which is really dope. There were a lot of good games, man. Silk Song and Hades 2 allegedly coming out in 2025. We'll see how that goes. We had a brief James Bond teaser. Shout out to Fast Fusion. I think that's going to be a sleeper title. And the GameCube finally coming over on the online expansion. I know some people do feel a way that it's only going to be on the Switch 2, but they got to do something to sell the console. So from a business perspective, I understand them doing that. But you have F-Zero GX, Soul Calibur 2, and Zelda Wind Waker, all amazing games, which we will finally get to play in like a more modern and convenient way. Switch 2 did have a bit of a misstep with that little welcome tour game where you get to run around like the inside of the Switch 2. Like, the game itself looked cool, but Nintendo, ain't nobody paying for this. Nobody's paying for this. This should have been a free. This should have been free $99. Nobody's paying for this. So yeah, that was bad move on their part for that one. But yeah, everything else game wise looked great. Hardware, I'm not gonna get super into the tech side of it, but everything looked good. Everything like it ran smooth. It looks like performance won't really be much of an issue on the system, or it shouldn't be, at least with what we saw. Zelda the Breath of the Wild looked amazing in that 60 FPS and that higher resolution. Boy, that game looks smooth. The game chat, I think that's going to be a really cool function. I just like the audio aspect. Didn't really care about the video. I don't need to see y'all while I'm playing that, even though now I can look at you while I throw a turtle shell at you. That's gonna be funny. But no, the game chat, I think that's gonna be cool. Hopefully the microphone sounds as clear as they say it will, and the mouse functionality, I think that's gonna be really dope. The mouse functionality combined with the gyro controls, I think that could be really dope and creative, depending on how they use it. But yeah, like all of that, great. This presentation started off fantastic. Games looking good, hardware's looking more powerful than I think a lot of people thought. We off to a good start. We killing it. And then it started to get a little shaky. With the game key cards, and then afterwards with the pricing. So we're going to start with the game key cards, because I think there was a lot of confusion going on about this. And I'm not mad at people feeling a way about the game key cards, but I do believe in, like, if we're going to be mad and yelling, like, let's at least be correct with the information that we're talking about. So with the game key cards, just to kind of clear this up, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I saw, the game key card is basically, it's going to be different, of course, from the regular cards. Now, some games, and the key word is some here, some games are going to come with these game key cards, in which you'll need to insert the card into the Switch 2. You'll have to have the internet to download it. And after you download it, you can play the game as long as you have said key card. Now, I had to clear that up because some people seem to be under the impression that these key cards were going to be for every single game, but that wouldn't even make sense because they clearly showed us the other game cards that run faster. Now, it is worth of note that the Switch 2 game cards are not the same as the Switch 1 game cards. So you can't, I believe you can't use the Switch 1 game cards on the Switch 2 because the Switch 2 ones run faster. But yeah, had to clear that up. Those are not going to be for every single game. And you can literally see they have it marked on the packaging of the games, on the game cases. You can see if the game has the key card. I'll try to make sure I put a picture of it on screen or not. Sorry, I'll make sure I put a picture of that on screen. Now, I will say though, like all that aside, I do understand like the concern with these key cards, because as somebody who does enjoy collecting physical games, I don't want to get a bunch of games with just key cards in them. Like if I pay for especially the AAA titles and the heavy hitters, like if I get a Mario game or Donkey Kong or a new Zelda game whenever that comes out, like give me the actual like cartridge. Like don't give me give me the regular game card. Don't give me the little key, the little download key. I don't want that, because kind of like what's the point? Now I'm not like 100% against these. I think maybe for smaller developers who maybe can't afford to press up the regular cartridges, maybe the key card might be a good option. But I don't want that to be so commonplace that they start to do that with all of the games, because at that point it's just like what's the point? And like physical media is already under fire as much as it is. It seems like they're trying to bury physical media more and more every day, and this would just kind of be another nail in the coffin. So I don't want it to become commonplace that we're getting a bunch of key cards. But like I said, it doesn't seem like this is not going to be for every single game. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I will say though, on a side note, these game cases are ugly. I don't know if y'all feel the same, but Nintendo, we can do better. It's supposed to be next gen. Why does game case look? I mean, I don't got had a lot of flash to it, but ain't no soul in it. I don't know. Look, the game cases look kind of ugly to me. But we'll see in the future how like commonplace this becomes with them using key cards as opposed to like the regular cartridges. But definitely just wanted to throw that out there, that they're not using those for every single game. That is incorrect information if you saw that. But the other thing that we need to talk about, the main event, if you will, the pricing. Pricing in like a lot of different facets, like the pricing of the system, the pricing of the games, the pricing of the Switch 2 versions if you upgrade, because some of those are apparently going to be free if you have the Switch Online expansion. I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are free, but some of those other games, they didn't really specify how much those would be. So yeah, let's talk about pricing, because Nintendo, like, I love y'all, but we gotta keep it real. Y'all didn't stand on business. Y'all didn't keep it 100 with the prices. Y'all did the presentation, which was great, amazing presentation, and then y'all just slid out the back door. Y'all didn't tell nobody the prices of nothing, and I don't think that's a good look. I know why y'all did it, but that ain't a good look, bro. That is not a good look. But yeah, let's get into these prices. So I'll say, for me personally, the prices of the actual console did not shock me at all. With everybody who I talked to when we were just kind of speculating, I was always throwing out the number between 400 and 450, no higher than 500. And turns out it's going to be 450 for the standard console, and then roughly about 500 for the bundle, the Mario Kart World bundle. So I wasn't really shocked. Now I do understand in these days and times with the economy and eggs and all that's going on, wages not going up, but the cost of living is. I know that's still a lot of money for people to drive. But for me personally, that didn't shock me. But then we got the prices of the games, and this is where it gets really interesting. Because some of these games are $80. Some of these are $70. I saw 60 floating around. Now I do want to say, once again, let's be correct with information, because I saw some people saying like, oh, every game is $90. And I'm like, that's not true. But I do have to take into account, and make sure you take this into account as well, different regions are paying different prices, because all of our currency is not worth the same. So I know for other countries, like, their games have always been more expensive, but I'm speaking for us here in the US, all of the games are not $90. If you're here in the US, that is not true. Now that's not to say they're not expensive. I'm just saying they all not 90. It seems like they're going like the bigger, more popular games, they're upping the price on them. So from what I saw, Mario Kart World, that's going to be 80. That's just 80 bones. The Switch 2 edition of Tears of the Kingdom, if you're just getting that as a standalone and not the upgrade, that's going to be $80. I think the Kirby Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition, I think that was also $80. But then it was weird because Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is going to be a brand new title, is only $70. And then the Street Fighter 1-2 year edition is $60. And that one only comes with the game key card. You don't even get a real cartridge with that one. So the pricing is a little like, hey, we gotta talk about this. The pricing to me is a little all over the place. It's too much. It's too much going on with this pricing. I don't know. Well, they trying to make money. That's pretty much the bottom line. But yeah, this pricing definitely caused a bit of uproar. I was watching the Treehouse events for Mario Kart, and I saw a little bit of the Metroid Prime 4 one. And if you go through the chat, I took a video of it, so I'll try to make sure I put that on the screen. But if you go through the chat during the whole presentation, all the comments were just drop the price, drop the price, drop the price. If you go on social media, you look at under all the posts, drop the price. Like everywhere Nintendo go, every corner they turn, is somebody yelling to drop that price. And it's gonna be really interesting to see how this plays out. Now, historically, we have seen in the past with the 3DS that originally came out. I didn't have a 3DS, so I had to kind of look this up because I kind of missed out on that whole era. But I believe when the 3DS dropped, it was like $250, and then not even like a year later, they had to drop it to like $150 or something like that, because that price was that was a lot to ask of people. And it's even worse nowadays because, with this, like I said, with the economy and all that's going on, we got tariffs popping off. Like it's crazy out here. And to me, I feel like the game price is more of a problem than the console price. I think if the console was the same price, but the games were still only like $60, I think they'd still probably be a little upset. But I think they'd be willing to get over it a little more. But console being $450 and you paying $80 for like a Mario Kart, or $70 depending on the game, that's a lot to ask of people in these days and times. But like it's hard because, like I said, you got these political things they probably play a role. And I'm not saying that's the whole reason. Some of it's probably greed. They're seeing how much they can get away with, but some of it is probably like tariffs and things like that. Like they're trying to recoup on costs. Same reason why I think they're using a lot of those game key cards, or they may use them. Like I said, we'll see how often they use them, but with all that's going on with, just money in general in the world, how much people have and how much they don't have, companies are trying to find ways to cut corners. And I think those key cards are going to be a way, and they're trying to find ways to make money and cover these production costs. So they're raising the price of these games and seeing how much they can get away with. Now, to me, it's just going to be interesting to see if people are going to hold the line. Because I think I don't think we'll have another Wii U situation, but I think we're either going to look back 5 to 10 years and say, man, Nintendo fumbled the bag on this one, because all indicators are saying this is leaps and bounds going to be better than the Switch. But if people on principle are going to say, nah, I'm not buying this because the price is too crazy, like this is too outrageous, we maybe 5-10 years from now are looking back like, Nintendo, y'all fumbled the bag. That's if they don't cave in. Or we might look back 5 to 10 years and say, hey, y'all did all this fussing and complaining, but y'all still bought it. It's really going to come down to the people and who's holding the line. We playing chicken. We are playing, the people in Nintendo are playing chicken. Who is about to fold first? Because either one or two things are going to happen. Either the people are really going to put that pressure on Nintendo, and one of these prices are going to have to drop. Now, me personally, I don't think the console price is going to drop. I think the console price is staying where it's at, if I'm being honest. But maybe the game prices will go down to like what we're used to. 60, maybe 70 at the highest. But I don't think the console price is going down. But yeah, either that's going to happen and the prices go down, or Nintendo's going to be like, hey, It is what it is. y'all just gonna have to deal with it. Either you buy it or you don't. Now, for me personally, I'm unemployed right now. I ain't gonna hold you. So I ain't buying nothing right now. I'm not getting no Switch 2. I'm not getting no. I ain't buying nothing. I have no money to have a stake in this race right now. Now, I'll be honest and say, if I still was working and had my previous job and had the money that I had, would I pay $80 for Mario Kart? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Y'all come to me for my opinion, so I gotta be honest. Would I pay $80 for Mario Kart? Absolutely. Why? Because I play Mario Kart way too much, and I know I'm gonna get my money's worth. I'm gonna get every bit of that $80 in time. I'm going to play that game for like 200 plus hours. I'm gonna be playing Mario Kart for the rest of my life. My return on investment is gonna be worth it. But I do understand also people on principle, just like I'm just not paying that much for a game. Like, I get it. I'm not saying you're wrong. For me personally, yeah, I'm gonna pay it because I know I'm gonna get my money's worth. Now, am I gonna pay that much for every single game? Absolutely not. Because Mario Kart for me is a special exception. It is an exception to the rule. I'll pay that much because I know I'm gonna get the time. I'm gonna get my return on my investment. Ain't a lot of other games I can't. I can't say that for everybody. But for Mario Kart specifically, yeah, I can overlook that. I can overlook that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a bend the knee to that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'm not mad at people who aren't, cause like times is hard right now, bro. People are really struggling out here, and that's Christmases are going to look crazy trying to get little Timmy a Switch 2 for $450 and pay $80 for Mario Kart. Like, this is gonna be the only game little Timmy play until he 18, cause we can't be affording $70-$80 a pop for a game. Now, like I said, depending on how they do this, because the prices aren't consistent. Like, some games are 80, some are 70. Like, it seems like the major titles, the ones they know are going to be the cash cows, are probably going to be more. But we got to see how kind of that all works out. But some people they're not waiting to see. They saw these prices out the gate, and like I said, based on what I saw in the chat, they said nah. So we got to see who's going to hold the line, who's going to fold first. And I think this will. It's wild because this console, I feel like, has a lot going for it. Like, tech-wise, game-wise, everything is there. Like, this seems like the Switch. This is what everybody wanted the first Switch to be. Like, this is like the dream console. And it would be wild to see if this fails just on the principle that people aren't willing to pay the money for it. When unequivocally it's gonna be a better console than the first Switch. But just based on affordability, people are just like, nah, I'm going to go back to my Switch 1. I'm going to go back to other consoles. I'm going to go to PC. I'm going to just play the 30,000 games I got in my backlog. And we'll get to the Switch 2 when we get to it. So yeah, it's wild. If I was the head of Nintendo, I don't think I in good conscience could make games that much. That's a lot to ask. I get it. You got to make money. It's a business. It's a corporation. I understand it. Bottom line, blah, blah, blah. But that's a lot to ask of people. But I will say, also, just throwing this out there, and I'm not trying to absolve Nintendo. You can feel how you feel about them charging these prices. I'm not gonna tell you wrong. That is you feel how you feel. Like I said, I'm not buying nothing because I can't afford to. So I'm out of this combo. I ain't even a factor. But I will say, I do think it's a little funny all the smoke Nintendo's getting for this. But like, they're not the only ones really doing this. They're just making it look different. Nintendo is getting all of the money up front. We're gonna pat you down. We're gonna run these pockets. You're gonna give me this full 80 or 70 up front, and then I'm gonna let you go on your way. Other games are doing this. Other companies are doing this. It's just a different payment plan. They're going to hit you with 60 up front. The game not even going to be complete. I can say at least with Nintendo, and it's not to defend them, but truth is truth. At least with Nintendo, in my opinion, most of the time. When I get a game from Nintendo, especially with like AAA titles, I'm getting a full game that may have DLC, but the DLC ain't needed to complete the experience. I'm going to get a full game. I don't really need no patches. It might have performance issues, but for me personally, that's not a huge deal. As long as the game is playable, it's not crashing. I'm cool with that. I know some people, it's different for them. We're not going to get into all that. But, like, I'm cool. I'm getting a full game. I ain't got to worry about DLC. I'm getting my money's worth. I paid for a full game, and I'm getting a full game. A lot of these other games, you paying full game price. The game needs 20 patches to work. That's not including season passes, DLC, you know, if it's that kind of game. So if you play those kinds of games, you getting got too. You screaming at Nintendo, you better be screaming at the other folks, because they're doing the same thing to you. All it is the payment plan is just a little different. They're going to hit you with 60 up front, and then they're going to nickel and dime you for 5 here, 10 here. But you paying the 80, you paying the 90, in some cases you paying 100. It's going to be real interesting to see when this new GTA comes out, with rumors that might be $100, because hey, y'all better, for all the smoke y'all got from Nintendo, whenever they have a presentation for that, show some gameplay footage, whatever. Yeah, same energy. Y'all, hey, don't just be yelling at Nintendo. Y'all better be, y'all better be over there too. Y'all say y'all can't pay this much for a game, so when they try to get you for 100 bones for GTA 6, you better be in there yelling too. I'm just saying. I just want people to be consistent, keep the same energy. Like I said, I'm not saying you're wrong for how you feel, but I just want you to be aware that Nintendo ain't the only one doing this to you. They just being real bold and overt with it. They're doing it right in your face. Everybody else is doing the same. Not everybody else, but a lot of other companies are doing the same thing. They just trying to be a little sneaky with it. And to be honest, it ain't really sneaky if you're paying attention. But it feels different because they're not getting you all up front. They're just, we're going to get you partially up front. And then we want to nickel and dime you, but that's kind of down the road, so you're not really thinking about the full picture. But if you do the math, it's the same. Low key, depending on the game, it might be worse. It might be worse. It's probably games y'all have paid $100 for if you went back and added all of the math of all the base game price plus the DLC plus skins you might have bought or something like that. You've probably paid like $100 for some of these games. So just wanted to throw that out there because I thought that was interesting. But yeah, no, this price thing is it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out, because like I said, this console has a lot going for it, and it would be tragic for it to fumble because y'all couldn't get a price right. Like I said, do I think they'll drop it? I don't think they'll drop the console price. You might get lucky and maybe they drop the games. But people really gonna have to really hold the line. Money talks. If nothing else, we know how corporations work. They listen to the bottom line. When that money start looking funny, ears start opening up and hearts start opening up. People want to hear you when you ain't spending that money. They want to know what's going on. So if people really hold the line, if people are as mad as they say they are, we could see these prices drop. But like y'all, you gotta hit the wallet. You can't fold. You saw that new Mario Kart, and maybe you really want it. You can't be in line. You can't be pre-ordering. You gotta hold the line. You gotta hold the line. But we're gonna see. We are gonna see how this is gonna play out. I will be watching from the sideline, as I am too broke at the moment to participate in any of these activities. I am just a watcher. I can't do nothing. I have no I don't say I don't have a horse in the race. I think these prices are kind of wild. I think they're kind of wild, especially in these times. Like, y'all know people are struggling, but I understand businesses are businesses. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They greedy. This is not just a Nintendo thing. Everybody trying to. You don't need me to tell you. You don't need me to tell you that how greedy these corporations are. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. But those are my little 2 cents in the bucket that I have on the matter. My name is Serial Sensei. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay hydrated, and I'll catch y'all on the next video.